If you would care to, please join me in the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Let us find comfort in the words of the ancient sage. God, what are we that you are mindful of us? Or indeed, those who come after us that you take account. Our lives are as vanity, for our days pass away as a shadow. In the morning we flourish and blossom forth. In the evening we are cut down and wither. You turn us to contrition and demand return, ye children. If you were wise, you would consider your end, for when you die you shall carry nothing away. Your glory shall not descend after you. But trust this, God does redeem the souls of the servants. None of them who trust shall be forsaken. And the psalmist said, I lift up my eyes unto the mountains. From whence will my help come? My help comes from God, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. See, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. God is your protection at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. God will guard you from all harm. God will guard your life, your going and your coming, now and forevermore. As we are here to memorialize Pat, please hear the words of the poet. He said this, let the thoughts of this moment be thoughts of tenderness and gratitude. Tenderness because of the woman in whose memory we are now gathered. Gratitude for all that has been lovable throughout the years. Tenderness toward every human frailty. Gratitude for a life known intimately and held in honor. Gratitude for strong ties of family affection. Gratitude for the privilege of knowing and of sharing with one another our experiences of joy and sorrow. Gratitude for opportunities to help and care for one another, which enable us to believe that our lives count. We would not be spared the consciousness of sorrow and loss. As our experience deepens, may our understanding of one another deepen also. And may we win from our joys and sorrows the wisdom of patience and sympathy, the courage to live faithfully, and the confidence that dark hours have precious meanings. And may we gain a deepened sense of the purposeness and rightness of a life well lived. Dear God, author of life and death, our wisdom is small, our vision short. One by one, our companions passing along the road of life disappear from our view. We know that each must walk the same path to the doorway of the grave. We strain to see what lies beyond the gate, but all is darkness to our mortal sight. Yet even the darkness is not too dark for you, O God, but the night shines as the day. You have created us in your image and made us to share in your enduring righteousness. You have put serenity, eternity in our hearts. You have implanted within us a vision of life everlasting. This hope we cherish in humility and faith, trusting in your wondrous goodness and your endless love. Into your hands we commit Pat's spirit, for you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Hatzor tamim po'olo ki chol drachav mishpat el emunah ve'ein avel tzadik v'yashar hu. Hatzor tamim b'chol ma'aseh. Mi yomar lo ma ta'aseh. Tzadik ata Adonai lahamid ulahachayot asher biyadcha pitkon kol ruchot. Halila lecha zichronenu limchot v'yihiyuna einenu barachamim aleinu pichuchot ki lecha Adon harachamim v'haslichot. Thy work, O God, is perfect, for all thy ways are justice, a God of faithfulness and without iniquity, just and right. Who can say, what doest thou? Thou bringest death and giveth life. What mortal can demand of thee? What hast thou wrought? Thou alone, O God, dost righteously apportion both life and death. In thy hand is the destiny of all souls. Thou wilt not forget us. Thy mercy will surely abide with us. Blessed art thou, Judge of truth, who dost ordain death and summon us to life. We are gathered in this loving and intimate assembly to pay tribute to the life and give honor to the memory of Patricia Schoen. Not only because of the immediacy of the event, it's hard to believe that Pat has died. In her frail body, Pat housed this soaring spirit that made her so strong. She was a tough woman who bounced back time after time from illness after illness. We secretly housed the hope that she'd be with us forever. I knew Pat as a terrific friend, a loving wife to Buddy, and an unceasingly devoted mother to Melissa and Pete. We met at a time when she was figuring out a lot in life. Chief among her tasks was how to live life anew as a sober woman. She set about it with her great intellect, emotional dedication, and spiritual gratitude. She was so glad that she and Buddy had those last years together. They were both thrilled for the changes and for the love. She worried about the two of you and never gave up, and always believed this. She always believed that you would grow into the responsible, loving, and upright people that you have become. Mom had an unwavering belief in your goodness, your talents, and your hearts. You rewarded her with your love and devotion. You rewarded her with her beloved Catherine and years of adult relationship that warmed her heart. Do you know that Pat wrote her own obituary? Not a great surprise, since presentation was so important to her, and I can easily see her wanting to lay out the facts of her life as she wanted them to be remembered. She spoke of family as her main interest and her activity in the PTA when you two were younger. She told of how she enjoyed tennis, crossword puzzles, painting, music, and reading. She highlighted her temple memberships and her homes in Beechwood, Dallas, and Naples. I didn't know Jack well. My loss. I think we met once. I knew she remarried. She wanted us to be especially remember the happiness they found and how they enjoyed the symphony and traveling, especially to her beloved Paris. I can assure her that we will remember those facts, and we will remember many more than those. We will smile when we hear echoes of her great sense of humor. We will remember her loving relationships with her late brother Bill and with her sister Donna. We will remember her devoted friends in and out of the AA rooms. We will honor how she was grateful for the time in Dallas to be near Catherine as you grew up and to see the happiness shared by Melissa and Jeff. We'll remember how she found a perfect cruising partner in you, Pete, how you all worked on the adult relationships that were honestly won and lovingly cherished. You said before, Pete, that without her example, you don't know that you'd be here today. Through the heartache, through the difficulties, she never gave up, and she never doubted. None of us will forget the unceasingly devoted care you returned to her throughout these last years. Pat suffered toward the end of her life, and I know it was hard for everyone to see and to live through. But she also infused her last days with her typical grace and sense of propriety. In that, she gave us a lasting legacy so that we can honor her by remembering how she'd wished, an upright, loving, and devoted woman who gave back to the world with style and grace and lived with gratitude and honor. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be so. May that be her legacy. Amen. We pray that Pat's memory endure among us all as a blessing. In your own time, O God, when we too are called to enter eternity, may we leave this life secure in the faith that with you is the fountain of life, that in your light we shall see light. The dust returns to the earth as it was, the spirit to God who gave it. May I ask those of you who are able to please rise. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kiloshim Utohorim Kezoha Harakia, Mazerim et Nishmat HaChavera Shalanu, Baz Avraham V'Sara, Shahalcha L'Olama. Ba'al HaRachamim Yastireha B'Seter Kanafav L'Olamim, V'Yitzro B'Tzorcha Chaim et Nishmata, Adonai hu nachalata v'tanuach b'shalom mishkava v'nomar Amen. O God, full of compassion, thou who dwellest on high, grant perfect rest unto the soul of Patricia Schoen, who has departed this world. Source of mercy, bring her into your presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou her possession, may her repose be peace, and let us all say, Amen. Please be seated. To you who mourn Pat's death, let there come the comfort of the hope that though the dust returns to the earth as it was, the spirit returns to God who gave it. Death is not the end. Our dear ones pass through the gateway of the grave into the peace of life that endureth always. We know that all of us must tread the same path, though we know not when the hour will strike. Let us so live that the coming of that hour shall find us unafraid. May our deeds do honor to the memory of our beloved, whom you, O God, have taken to yourself. Would you join me, please, in the 23rd Psalm? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Pat's family would like to let you know that Shiva will be observed today following services until 9 p.m. this evening in the receiving room at Homewood Suites on Central Parkway in Beechwood, and everyone is invited there upon return from the cemetery. Chaim Potok wrote this, and I have to tell you, I often read this at funerals, and as I was preparing this morning and thinking about Pat, thinking about how important family was to her, as a cousin, as a friend, as a mother, as a grandmother, as a mother-in-law. As I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how she worked so hard to make her life one of value. So please hear these words. We live less than the time it takes to blink an eye, if we measure our lives against eternity. So it may be asked, what value is there to a human life? There is so much pain in the world. What does it mean to have to suffer so much if our lives are nothing more than the blink of an eye? I learned a long time ago that the blink of an eye in itself is nothing. But the eye that blinks, that is something. A span of life is nothing. A person who lives the span, though, is something. A person can fill that tiny span with meaning. Meaning is not automatically given to life. It is hard to fill one's life with meaning. But a life filled with meaning is worthy of rest. We will continue at the cemetery.